Hey guys, it's Merlini with predictions and odds analysis for the December 2nd Playday. And yesterday I put up my prediction video a little bit late, unfortunately, because it was the first day that I actually got all my predictions right. I doubt that today will be the same though, because today are a lot of very risky best of ones, and there's 7 matches to boot. So the first one that we have is for the Sign Up Cup, and it is a best of one in between DK and LGD International. And DK actually dropped versus Vici yesterday, 1-2, and that was a best of three. And DK still having ping issues with Ice and Mushi, and it is a little bit evident from their play. I saw Ice miss a few hook shots, and sometimes their play is just a little bit questionable, and they have to play differently than they normally do. Yesterday's odds for DK versus Vici I said were 60-40. I think today it's around 65-35 because it is a best of one. DK still has ping issues. LGD Int will not have PyCat, but I don't really think that hurts him that much because they dominated Tongfu yesterday. If you look at the match yesterday, here's the Dota buff. It was just brutal. It was like 25-4, and they used Icy instead of PyCat, and Black actually played a non-black hero. He didn't play Lone Druid, ANT Mage, Phantom Lancer, or Luna. He played an Invoker, a 10-0 Invoker versus Tongfu, and that gives me a lot of respect for Black, and I think that they have a pretty decent shot. So I would say 65-35. I think the odds are pretty good for betting on LGDN, so I will be betting against DK yet again, rares on LGD International. Next one that we have is FL for Love versus IG, again in a best of one. This one I'm probably not going to bet on. For Love is actually not a pushover, even though many of you guys probably have not heard of the team. They beat out Hearts yesterday, and they took down one game versus DK, and yeah, For Love is just not a pushover. DK actually picked real heroes in the second game of the best of three, the game that For Love actually won. And this is a best of one format, IG being a little bit inconsistent too. Lost versus LGD China. I didn't actually watch that game, and I did not watch the For Love versus Hearts Get Together game, so we'll likely be staying away. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I want to watch this game and gather more information about these teams. I don't really see anything wrong with placing one rare on For Love or even placing a few rares on IG. Both seem pretty reasonable to me. Next 5 that we have are from the Star Ladder. And first and foremost, a warning. Star Ladder best of one CIS Dota is almost as risky as Southeast Asian best of one Dota. So I could easily lose 20 rares just betting on these matches. If you're going to bet on these matches, that could very well happen to you too. So if you want to hear my analysis, just be careful when you're betting. So first one that we have is Next KZ versus Flipside. And this is not the Flipside with Migo and Mania. This is the Flipside .ru newer team, and it's best of one. D2L odds are about 68-32 when I wrote my write-up up. Now it's about 70-30. I think that Next KZ's mid player is pretty darn beastly. His name is Wadafaka. They've also been on quite the roll lately. Next KZ has, and they've won a lot of their games. They beat out PR, Power Rangers, as well as 4FC, as well as Poseidon. And there's some potential on Flipside, but they make a lot of just game-changing mistakes in the early mid-game and let the game slip away from them, at least from the games that I've watched. So I think I'll bet on Next KZ. These odds are pretty accurate. My odds were 72-28 when they were 68-32, but I think that Next KZ is pretty good. Next one that we have is Empire versus Next KZ, and I'm probably not going to bet on this until I watch the Next KZ versus Flipside game. I'll actually be casting the Star Ladder games. Normally odds would be around 2-1 for Empire for a matchup like this, but Empire had a questionable loss versus SSD the other day, and Next KZ has been looking real good. So I can definitely see this upset happening. Seem very fair. I would recommend until this game is over to bet. Tentatively, I'm going to bet on Empire just because I think they're a stronger team, and they did beat out Next KZ in the past time that they met in a best of three without dropping a game. But I'll be waiting until this one ends. Very unsure about this one. SSD versus VP. Super Strong Dinosaurs lost to Power Rangers, but Feed With Me was so ridiculously useless. It was a painful game to watch. He went like Boots versus Rubik and was like 2-11 at the end of the game. And I casted the game. I was just like, wow, what are you doing? Or at least I was watching it. I don't know. Maybe I was casting it. Who knows? Anyways, so the odds for this game, I would say actually about like 53-48 in favor of Super Strong Dinosaurs. SSD has their moments of brilliance though, and consistently have good wins versus teams like Empire. And I'll put them as a slight favorite in this matchup, especially considering VP recently reshuffled their roster. 2 players are out. 2 players are in. NS and Blow Your Brain are out, even though Blow Your Brain was a stand-in, and Illidan and JOTM are in. So, I'll take a gamble, put on an SSD for this matchup. Next one that we have is Power Rangers versus 4FC. At the time of writing this, it was 55-45 in favor of Power Rangers. I don't really have favorites for this matchup. Both teams have taken games off of Tier 1 teams. Power Rangers beat Navi once in a best of 3, and 4FC beat Fnatic in a best of 1 around a week ago. So Power Rangers have faced stronger opponents, SSD, NextKZ, Poseidon, and Starlighter, and lost all these games except for SSD, but that was mainly just SSD looking weak rather than Power Rangers looking good. And 4FC have lost most of their recent matchups after upsetting Fnatic. They lost versus NextKZ, they lost versus a team called OSG, as well as Sigma. So current odds means that PR will win 5 nights at a time, 4FC will win 4 nights at a time, but that's actually a little bit before. Now odds are a little bit skewed. I may have to reconsider this. Originally, I was going to bet on PR at 55-45. Still very unsure. I'll keep the Reddit post updated. Last but not least, we have Aspera versus Fnatic. My odds for this are about the same, 26-74. Fnatic will be playing against Revenge in the NPL a few hours before this match if you want to scout out Fnatic's performance earlier in the day. But we did see quite a bit of Fnatic in the DreamHack Winter 2013 semifinals and grand finals. Aspera has not upset anybody in their recent matches, Mouse, Rocks, Kiss, and Speed. And Fnatic was upset by 4FC around a week ago, so I think these odds are about right. I don't really see too much value in betting on either side. I'm most likely just going to be siding with Fnatic for this one. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for another episode of Mad Rares with Merlini. If you like my videos, you can subscribe to me at youtube.com/MerliniDota. Thanks, guys, and good luck with your rares.